I am ready to share with you for free, open source, the contents for my course for 4th and 5th graders, How to Start a Business. Now, I'm showing you here the one for 4th graders. The one for 5th graders is almost the same. The only difference is some of these Common Core standards. We'll get to that at the end. I'm sharing it with you here so that you can use it yourself, experiment, and for me, all I'm asking for from you is feedback, and possibly that you want me to teach you. My goal here is to just make a good course. I want it so that there is some education out there for kids about money and business. This is where I found the best place to start for me, how to start a business. And I think this is ready to get out there and for me to start teaching it, or maybe for you to start teaching it. And we get some feedback, we make some changes, and we get it really good, and then we go for even bigger distribution. And where am I going to teach it? I don't know, maybe I rent a room here in Playa Vista and teach some kids. Maybe I go to some schools, and maybe some schools would be interested in having me in to teach this. I'm going to go through it. It's 3 classes, 45 minutes to 1 hour long each session to do this course. I'm open to suggestions. It's new, so maybe you have a school nearby me in California. I'll come and teach there. Maybe you have some kids who want to learn. Maybe I could teach remotely. I'm just looking to, test this out and get your feedback, even if you're not teaching. I'd love to hear what you think, what questions you have, what you like, what you don't like. If you try it, what works, what doesn't. Okay, so here's what we have here. The idea is that this is going to be Shark Tank style business presentation is what the kids are going to do. For those of you who don't know Shark Tank, it's a TV show. I recommend you check it out. People come with a business idea, and they present their idea, and then these investors decide whether or not they're going to invest in the business. And so similarly, the kids will present their business ideas, and the teacher will give them feedback, not necessarily on whether their idea was amazing or not, but just whether they went through the proper processes that you want to do to launch a business. Okay? Now, what the steps are going to be, they're going to brainstorm for the business ideas. We're going to create a marketing strategy. We're going to create financial statements. And if you want to get this course into public schools, you need to meet Common Core standards. So I outlined how this matches 7 Common Core standards. I'll go through that at the end. Gets a little boring for those of you who don't care about that. If you're in a public school, you do care about that. So I'll explain that later. And this class is a pilot program, which is a fancy way of saying it's free. And also a work in progress, open to suggestions. All right. So let's get to what we have. Day 1, we're going to start with business idea brainstorming, right? And I outlined a couple questions to get them thinking about this. First of all, what are you good at that is helpful to others? And think about different ideas. And we'll talk about just brainstorming itself, how it's, no idea is bad when you're brainstorming, quantity over quality. Next, okay, so what are you selling? What could you sell? And to sort of describe it, make it sound interesting. When I've worked with kids before, say, what are you selling? Chips. You're selling chips? Well, what about, selling sea salt chips? 2 for the price of 1. Make it exciting. Who is your target customer? This is important, in general, but mostly for marketing. And we'll get into that. So where are they going to sell it? At school or to their family community near where they live, or they're going to go on the internet? Who's your customer? And what is the cost? What is the price, which relates into what's the cost, and come up with the pricing. Next, the kids will then form teams, or they can work alone for their Shark Tank style presentation. If there's a team, each teammate is going to participate in the presentation. And if it's a team, again, they need to agree, or if it's an individual, make the decision. Okay, what's the product or service? Who's your target customer? And what's the price? Let's make a decision. So, because day 2, they're going to prepare this presentation. Next, we're going to talk about making that financial statements. First thing we're going to do is learn the terms for financial statements. And what I'm going to do is I have all of these here, which are a definition and a term, right? So product, a manufactured physical item is a product. So I'd make that into two different cards. And then there's going to be all these, 15 matches here. And you mix up the cards, and the kids are going to try to match up the term with the definition, right? And then when they're done, I'll go over these on the ones that they don't know or didn't know, and we'll see how that goes. The teacher was telling me it's a lot more fun for them to try it before I give away all the answers. And I got to say, some of these seem simple, but a few classes I did teach, I was surprised very few kids knew what profit really was. So, money from sales that you keep after paying expenses is profit. And so they got to learn these terms so that they can create an income statement. Then we have some income statement problems. So for example, I have a sample a blank income statement here where they fill in the sales, quantity, price, total sales, expenses, quantity, cost, total costs, subtracted out for the net profit. And so the first problem I will do with the kids. So Miss Moneybag spent $7.48 on Amazon to buy 22 bags of potato chips. So we need to figure out how much did it cost for one bag of chips. And she sold all the chips for $1 each. Right? So you can use that to figure out your profit. And also she worked babysitting for 1.5 hours, which I thought was good to put in because there's no cost of goods. So that is a high profit margin, service, right? Because there's no costs. Although that gets tricky anyways. So this is the first problem I'll do with them. Second problem, I would have them do on their own and fill out their sheet. Then they're ready for their business to create a financial statement that's either, you'd be surprised, a lot of these kids have their own businesses already. They may be selling things on eBay, selling candy at school, doing different things. So if they have an existing business, they may want to create an income statement that shows the sales of their existing business. Or if it's new, to use an income statement to show a forecast of what they think they can make over a certain period of time. So that's that's all on day one. Busy day. Day two is to prepare this presentation. The presentations will all be presented on day three. On day two, they need to figure out how they're going to show their product. Now, they may have a slideshow, Google slideshow. Maybe they actually bring in the product, whatever it is. They need to explain the pricing. They need to reveal the target customer and show, if you do an advertising, you do marketing, and you show, you always want to have a human face in your ads. That's just proven does well with marketing. And that face should match the look of your target customer. We'll talk about that and figure out how they're going to do that in their presentation. And these presentations are going to be short, right? So if there's, if it's a 1-hour class and there's, 6 groups, and I'm giving feedback, I don't know, do the math. It's probably only going to be a minute or two presentations for each kid. So what's the elevator pitch? Sell it in 1 sentence or 2 sentences. And also, again, the income statement. They're going to present the numbers for this business to make it, so that we can understand what's the potential. Day 3, we do the presentations. I'll have it timed out based on how many kids and how much time students present. Me and the teacher would give feedback. Feedback is going to be more focused on whether they followed all these steps, did all these things, thought it through, and less about, oh, this is going to really make a lot of money or not. I'm not too worried about that at this point. So that's the course. I have here at the end my bio I'm going to go to some schools, public schools, private schools, and say, hey, you want me to come in and teach? Hopefully some people say yes. If you know anyone who might say yes, I don't know that I'm going to travel around the world to do this, right? Hopefully something local to Playa Vista, California. But I'm looking to do that. Anyways, for those who don't know me, and then here's a bio feel free to give me feedback on my bio. Like, can I make it look better or whatever? I'm open to, and don't be worried about hurting my feelings. I'm looking to do what's best. If this is not the best, let me know. Okay. Finally, the Common Core standards for those of you who care here. Basically, if you go see this URL, this shows all the Common Core. You can go to this link. Let me click on it. And you can see here, if you want to see all the Common Core standards, they're all here. So I linked to the one that this one applies to, which is the first one, Speaking and Listening, grade 4. This is the actual thing, report on a topic or story. This is about the presentation. Giving a presentation is a Common Core standard. And so, here's the lesson that I have that applies to this Common Core standard. And you can see here, and then here's another one. The visual displays, again, more about presentation. This one is language. We're learning these financial terms. That's the knowledge of language. Again, this is all part of the presentation. We're applying to these Common Core standards. Direct word choice to describe the offer. Remember, they don't have much time for the presentation. They're trying to make a real point here quickly. This is learning how to, how to meet these Common Core standards regarding speaking and presenting. And then number and operations base 10. This is when you saw my financial statement problems, it was like, why am I using, $7.48 for 22 bags of chips? Making the math sort of a little more tricky so that they are, let's see, there's lining up decimal points. Is that what this is? Use place value. That's lining up decimal points. Converting. Is this the one? Well, this is adding, subtracting, using the decimal points. I don't know. There's one with converting dollars to cents. That's another Common Core standard thing. I think that's here. Cost per decimals, convert. Listen, you can read through all this. I'm going to share the link to this spreadsheet in the description below, and you can see all this stuff. I think that's all I have. Again, obviously, as I said, I'm anxious to hear feedback. Let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to taking this to the next level. Thank you.